Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Chef Rob. Today we're going to make a blueberry cobbler bread. Perfect time for summer. Really good for the breakfast, for brunch, a little snacking at night, anytime you want it. So the first thing we want to do is have a 9x5 loaf pan, just like this. And I just like to kind of quickly just give it a spray, okay, just a little bit. And then take a piece of parchment paper. I like this little trick where you just kind of put this in here, give it a quick little spray as well, and then just trim it so you don't hit the top, the coils in your oven. But when you are done with the bread, it is easy to lift right out. Okay, now the reason that I sprayed both of them is because on the parchment paper the bread will come right out, and then if anything does spill into the bottom, it's going to kind of lift right out and nothing will be burnt down there. Okay, so just kind of have it just like this. Going to leave this to the side. I have my oven preheating to 350 right now, so I'm going to start adding in the dry ingredients. We're going to take 2 full cups of the all-purpose flour and just kind of spoon it in here, level it off, just like that. So you want 2 cups. And we're just going to level that off again. And then we're going to have some brown sugar, 1 cup of the light brown sugar. With brown sugar, kind of overfill it because brown sugar you want to pack in there. Okay, and don't skimp on the sugar. Make sure you put the right amount in there. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. And 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Baking powder is going to make this bread rise nicely. So 1 teaspoon and our half. Put that right in there. Some baking soda. The baking soda, just 1/4 teaspoon. Now this is kind of optional. I've started adding this into this recipe because I like it to give it a little bit more flavor. Because just blueberries and a little bit of vanilla, I feel like it needs a little bit of help, so I'm adding a little bit of cinnamon. So 1/2 teaspoon of the ground cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, regular table salt. So we're just going to mix this up. Just kind of take the wire whisk, just mix that up really well. And then you're going to want to have 2.5 cups of blueberries. They could be frozen, they could be fresh. Whatever ones are the tastiest ones at the time. Okay, so let's just mix that. Okay, so we're going to take 2 full cups of blueberries, put them into a food processor, and we're just going to puree them and have a blueberry puree. So we're just going to pulse this a few times. It will turn your bread on the purple side, but that's okay. You just want nice flavor, okay? So this is how it should be, a nice deep blue, or purple I should say. Okay, so let's just take our blueberries and put them right into this bowl. Medium-sized bowl would be good. Now you're going to want to have 1 stick of butter melted. Okay, it could still be warm, that would be fine. So this is 1 stick of butter. We're going to mix that in there with the blueberry puree. We're going to take 3 eggs. You need the 3 eggs for this. Just crack that, put that right on top here. And then we're going to put a little vanilla extract, about 1 teaspoon. Use the pure vanilla extract. And just pour this in here. Now let's whisk this up really well. And then we're going to add it into our dry ingredients. And you can either take out an electric mixer or you could mix this up by hand, okay? So kind of almost like a little rough consistency it should look like. Okay, so let's just take this blueberry mixture, add it right into the flour. Make sure you get everything out really good. I'm just going to take the spatula for right now. Sometimes using the electric mixer can certainly help it, and I am going to do that. You don't really need the stand mixer. You don't need to bring something big out for this. You just want to get this to where it is combined, and that is it. So just do this until it is combined. After we put this in the prepared pan, we are going to make our crumble. And that you're going to use a 1/4 cup, which is a 1/2 stick of butter, a 1/2 cup of flour, and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And that is a really good crumble. And that is something also, if you wanted to add a little cinnamon in that crumble, you could do that as well. I don't feel like it needs it, but everybody has a little difference in their taste. So just a little something that you could do with it. Okay, so this batter is all together. We have our pan all done, all ready to go. It's always good to do that in the beginning. Okay, so let's pour the batter in here, and then we are going to make our crumble topping. My oven is to 350 right now. Make sure you scoop everything out. You want to get all that really good flavor. This has a really nice flavor, this bread. You could always change this and do blackberries or strawberries with this. Raspberries would work out well. Okay, let's make the crumble. Okay, so we just need a 1/2 stick of butter. Very cold. Make sure this just came out of the refrigerator or even freezer. And then you just want to dice this really small. And just put this into the bowl. This is going to make our crumble with some flour and some brown sugar. Everything from the cutting board or whatever work surface you are on. So now a 1/2 cup of the brown sugar. Make sure that is packed as well. And then we want a 1/2 cup of the all-purpose flour. And now we're just going to kind of go in there and just kind of crumble this up. Okay, you could take your hands just like this. Okay, and just kind of make the crumb topping. You can use a pastry cutter or a fork, whatever you prefer. And then we're just going to kind of scatter this all over the top of the blueberry cobbler bread. Okay, so let me just show everybody these crumbs. Okay, they should look like this, where it can just fall apart and they look like nice big bakery crumbs. Okay, try not to have it where it's mixed and it's too much like that, because it can kind of have a wet texture to it. You want it to be a little loose but nice crumbs on top. So what I'm going to do is kind of take this and just kind of break it right on top here. And if you have some reserved blueberries, if you had a few extra or some in the fridge, you can even sprinkle a few on top as well too. Just makes it look a little prettier. So if you were to put them on there, I would say about a 1/4 cup at the most. So we're going to go put this into the oven, and you will see a delicious blueberry cobbler bread. Our blueberry cobbler bread is finished. It took an hour and about 15 minutes. If you use the frozen blueberries, it will take a little bit longer. If you use the fresh, it could take a little bit less. So just give yourself that time. Check it with a toothpick. Toothpick should come out clean. I hope you will make this. And everybody, thank you for always watching. Bye-bye.